Welcome back to our special edition of Power Play as we go over the 2022 federal budget. The federal budget will allocate $10.3 billion over 5 years for reconciliation measures. That includes the already announced $4 billion set aside for supporting First Nations children through Jordan's Principle. $275 million over 5 years will be spent to address the shameful legacy of Canada's residential institutions. $639 million invested in clean drinking water infrastructure, and $3.9 billion for housing in Indigenous communities. Does this go far enough to address the unique needs of Indigenous people living in Canada? Let's ask the Assembly of First Nations National Chief, Roseanne Archibald. National Chief, always good to have you on the program. Your initial reaction to the federal budget?
I've been talking about this with a number of people today, and one of the key things that's missing in this budget, Evan, is true economic reconciliation. So, we go through these budget cycles every so often, and the narrative is usually the same, which is, oh, those are good investments there, but we need more here. And I think that we get stuck in that cycle because we're not addressing what we really need to address around First Nations economies in terms of economic reconciliation. So as we move forward, I know that what we need is a new kind of way to provide funding to First Nations. So I read that $90 billion was a windfall for this government, and particularly around commodities. And those commodities are being extracted from First Nation lands. And wealth is being built on this country on First Nations land, yet every budget cycle we find ourselves in the same position of having to say whether we like the budget or not, or whether it's enough. And really, when we could actually be building a new fiscal arrangement with this country based upon the wealth that's being built on our lands, and having First Nations be a part of that rather than just programs and projects. We need to have a deeper conversation, and I think we're ready to have that conversation in this country.
So what do you mean? I mean, I want people to understand what you're saying, because some folks are going to look at this and say, look, every Canadian, every stakeholder group is asking for support for something. I know the AFN even called for $44 billion over 10 years to address the housing crisis. The budget set aside $3.9 billion over 5 years for housing, so there's obviously a gap there. But if you're saying that's not even the issue is something larger, are you, just give me a sense of what you're talking about there. Are you talking about, I mean, you've long talked about getting rid of the Indian Act, but is there a way to talk about this that people can say, okay, how do we renegotiate this relationship as you're talking about?
Well, it is exactly what you said. First Nations identify what they require in order to have the very basics of life that everybody else has in this country. Safe and adequate housing, clean drinking water, like the very basics. And yet somehow each government from the beginning of this country's inception ignores that and says, oh, no, you don't need that. We're actually going to give you less than what you need. Yet the wealth of this country is being built upon our lands. It's being built upon, the resources that are being extracted from First Nation territories. When you talk about land acknowledgements, you can't just say, well, I'm on the unceded territory of so-and-so and so-and-so. You have to acknowledge that wealth is being extracted from all of Canada, which is First Nation lands. And that's what I mean, Evan, is we have to start to have that conversation about when First Nations have access to the wealth that is rightfully theirs because the Creator has placed us here, then we actually, as First Nations, invest in our own communities. We take, we look at what our community needs are, and if we need to build more houses, then we'll build more houses. But we can't look to the government and say, hey, we need 10 houses. Can you give us money? We need to have access to our own wealth to do that.
Okay. And you and I have talked about this for a lot. I just want to try to filter that critical discussion through kind of the specifics of the budget. $11 billion over 6 years for Indigenous communities. And you mentioned clean drinking water. Like, this is urgent, right? people need it now. They've got $196 million invested 22-23. It goes up to $350 million in 23-24. Then it starts dropping down, but it's a total of $639 million. That's been is that enough to solve that issue or to deal with that issue?
Again, we're talking about a question that is not even a question in Toronto. It's not even a question if a boil water advisory or something goes wrong with the water in a major municipality in this country, it gets fixed. Not in a year, not in 2 years, not in 3, not in 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20 years that it has taken to fix these problems in First Nation communities. And so I think that the point I'm trying to make is that we have to change the way we address these issues, and that is by sharing the wealth of this country with the people whose land it sits on. And when that happens, then when an issue comes up, as I said, we have that self-determination and that self-government that we have an inherent right to begin to fix these problems, and we will. But to continually be in this budget cycle with the federal government or any government is not getting us to the places we need to get to. And I think this is why I believe that, non-Indigenous Canadians, especially in this last year, how many interviews have we had, Evan, where we talked about these unmarked graves and the children that are being recovered and how that's affecting everybody, including non-Indigenous Canadians. And so for me, I've heard many of them say, well, how do we move forward? What do we do now? Well, this is our opportunity. We have a great opportunity in front of us to change the narrative of this country, to change how First Nations are treated in this country. And a budget cycle is just not the place to deal with these items in a piecemeal fashion. We need true economic reconciliation. We need to have access to our resources and our wealth.
Assembly of First Nations National Chief Roseanne Archibald. I think it's powerful perspective. We're all caught up in these budget cycles. National Chief, always a pleasure. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Evan. Take care.